Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? How's everybody on the cheap seats? Everybody good back there? Okay. I can't see you. That's intentional. I don't blame you. That was the point. That was intentional. That's exactly right. So if everybody in the back would absolutely get mad at me if I said you had to fill up first 10 rows, right? Raise your hand if you get mad at me. That's okay. That's good. I'm joking. It's very, very good to see each and every one of you here again for another year of transporting students, student care, student management, all the things we have to do. We're sad to see our illustrious leader leave us. He has been illustrious. That's the word that comes to mind. And so we're very thankful for all your help, all your support, all your hard work, all the back and forth that you've had to do for us and to keep us going. And we appreciate everything you did. It's been a good ride. There's no doubt about it. And it will continue to be a good ride. Yes, it's been awesome. So we look forward to the future. I believe that our department has been moving forward for the last 5 years for sure. I think we want to continue that moving forward. You go to the next slide, Dave, and then the next one. Just go ahead and move on to the next one. I'm going to try to use my time here as wisely as I can. At the end of my time here, Jeremy Kidd, who is the principal at South High, is supposed to be coming for about 5 minutes to introduce to you the two new assistant principals that he has. So we'll do that for about 5 minutes. He'll get here about 9:10, I think, if he remembers. I forgot to remind him, so I'm amazed I remember. But so what I want to talk about today and what I'm here to do is one thing. I want to thank you, each and every one of you. I'm really glad to see you back. We are extremely glad to see you back. You don't know what a pleasure it is to have drivers return every year. Some of you have been here a very long time, and some of you have not. Either way, we're very, very excited to see you come back and to want to be able to drive. You know, if we polled everybody here right now, everybody's got a different story. Everybody's got a different reason for doing what they do. You know, when I started a few years ago, it was for insurance and a little bit extra income, what my other job wouldn't provide. And it turned into one thing to another. And fortunately, and I'm very happy that it worked out the way it did for me. But I drove a bus, for a reason. I always had a reason to do it. And we have our reasons for doing that. Some of you all just like doing it. I'll say this, after a few years it gets in your blood. It does. It's just one of those things that you can do, although it can be the hardest thing in the world, and it can be the best thing in the world. It can go either way, and it can be all in between. When it's hot like it is right now, we just enjoy so much time in that seat and sweating and pulling the steering wheel and, we just enjoy it so much. And when it's cold, we do that. When it's 6 o'clock in the morning and it's 2 degrees outside and you don't know, what's on the road, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. But we keep doing it. There's a reason you keep doing it. And if you know your reason for doing it, that's good. But the main reason that we should be doing this is for keeping our students safe, taking care of these kids, putting the kids first, making sure that we are, doing our job as bus drivers. And thankfully, I can say this past year, it's been a good year. You all performed, very, very well. There's a word I'm thinking, illustriously. You performed illustriously. so you did great. And I, as your direct supervisor, I appreciate that. We have to work on a daily basis. We see each other a lot, some of us. Some of us more than others. It just depends on write-ups and all kinds of other things. But we do appreciate, I appreciate personally, the job that you do. I've done it. I see it. I understand it. I know it's hard. I know it's not easy a lot of times. But you continue to perform admirably, and very good and excellently, and that just goes so far. We're very fortunate in this department to have the situation that we have, with the drivers that we have, with the veterans that we have, with the teachers that we have, with everybody from all spectrums, and we're very, very fortunate. So what I want to do is, when is my time over? 9:15? Okay, gotcha. All right, so, thank you. I didn't bring my itinerary with me. So what I want to do is talk about your packets first. This year we did packets. We've not done packets for a while for a lot of reasons, but this year we needed to do packets. So let me say thank you especially to Brittany and Willow for helping us get these together. They helped everybody in every department get these packets together. Worked hard. I mean, they worked very hard every day, all day long. And we appreciate them for their hard work in helping us do this. And suggestions and other things. Because we don't do this by ourselves. We can do this all together. You know, nobody can do this job by themselves. It takes all of us to do it. And you know, when we see that and understand that, it helps us all, you know. But your packets are important this year. One of the things that you have in your packet is a route that has been produced out of the software that we bought 2 or 3 years ago called Traversa, okay? Let me just say right up front, I know you're going to come to me and say, this turn's wrong, that turn's wrong, this stop is incorrect, you know, I don't do that anymore. So let me explain how this works so that you understand why that information is on that route. So the design and the purpose of that is for you and for a record of what we do. But not only that, it's also the hand to a sub-driver. So now a sub-driver can study this and he can see where he turns and where he turns around and hopefully has more information than what we've had in the past, just printing that route out of Zonar, okay? So that route and those directions are mainly designed for the sub-drivers that we would have that would sub your route. And so, although it's not perfect, one of the reasons, and I'll move past that just in a minute, but one of the reasons it's not perfect is because whatever day I picked to import your route out of Zonar into Traversa, it takes that information and puts it in. So if you didn't go down a road that day, or you didn't pick up a student that day, that was not going to show up on your route, okay? Now, let me say this. Brittany worked all year long last year. We started at the beginning of the year, and she finished at the end of the year. We transport roughly 6,000 to 7,000 students twice a day, in that range, somewhere, okay? We've got about a 9,000 to 10,000 range of enrollment. So we got about 6,000 to 7,000 students we transport twice a day. We are the biggest school in this district twice a day. For sure. There's no doubt about that. So, hey, I'm the biggest school when they're on my bus, right? So the deal is if you didn't do that day, it didn't show up on Traversa. The other thing that you have with that route is a roster. I don't ever remember us being able to hand you a roster, okay, of students that possibly could ride your bus. Brittany worked all year long putting those students in. Remember the seating charts? Anybody remember seating charts? Surely you haven't forgotten this summer, right? We love seating charts around here. We get it once a month, first week of every month.
Going back to that.
We are going back to that. It's once a month. Once a month. We're not going to do it every day. We can't handle that. I thought I was going to lose my mind. I mean, I'll tell you, y'all did too, didn't you? It was like, oh my gosh. But thankfully, we're only going to do it once a month, first week of every month. We're going to continue turning seat charts. Here's why. That roster that you have in that packet, I'll explain why some of you don't have it here in a minute. That roster you have in that packet is from your seating charts. So we was able to take those students from those seating charts, transfer them into Traversa, and develop a roster for you. So now that we've got a foundation to start the year with, you kind of know some students are going to ride your bus. They may not ride, you may have some new ones that are going to be added to that. We know that, right? But at least you've got a place to start. Now, some of you don't have Traversa routes in your folders, but that's on me, because I didn't get to them, okay? I got to the 15s and I couldn't get past that. But I believe by the start of school, I'll have all the routes printed out, reviewed, everything ready to go for you. So if you don't have one, don't sweat it. We will have, I'll have that to you hopefully before school starts. I don't see myself not finishing that. So, those of you who've driven a long time and you know your route and you've driven it, hey, no big deal, right? You know what's going on. Those of you who have not, you might need that a little bit more. You might need to rely on that a little bit more, especially your student roster, okay? So, a few of the routes have a lot of students, and I'm going to pick on one, 0703, Jack Benschneider. He's going to haul 200 kids this year. And we've got the bus stretchers ordered right now, so we're going to stretch his bus to be able to hold 200 kids, and he can handle that. Jack's pretty good. Yeah. But Jack's seen it already, and I do some of you, and there may be some of you up there on the old buses, 07, 05s, whatever, you're going to say, why in the world do I have 500 students? I'll tell you why. Because I did a little experiment. I went through each area looking at the routes, and I wondered, how many students could ride this bus? Jack, in your area, there's one I remember for some reason. There's about 200 students that could ride your bus. That's a lot of kids, right? They all want to ride, thank goodness, right? They all want to ride at once, that's for sure. But that is a potential. One of the reasons I did it is because of gas prices. You may want to think about this year hauling a few more kids because of gas prices. I know if I was a parent, and I had a kid and there was a bus going by my house and I was struggling financially, guess where they'd be going? On the bus, right? I mean, that's going to save me some money. But anyway, that's something to think about, and that's just kind of some background so that you can understand what's in your packet concerning Traversa and all that. Seating charts. I think, yeah, seating charts will be next, I believe. So, again, that we do it the first of the month, at the beginning in September, on September the 1st, or September, the first week of September, I'll need your seating chart. So they'll give you about 2 weeks to get, emergency cards out, get the students on your bus, use your roster that you have now to check off the students that are riding, maybe mark off the ones that are not doing that. You've got their names, their addresses. If any of that information has changed, if you see there's some codes beside the rosters too. Let me say that just for a minute. There's some codes next to the roster. You're going to have a T1, T2, T3. There will be an NT, which means not transported, and that's the one you're concerned about. If it says NT next to that student's name, that means they're not transported. Let me know about those, and so that we can correct that. Because if they're riding the bus, we need to change that code in the campus. And get that corrected, and we're going to be helping the schools out by doing that as well. So please look at that. But that roster will be a good place to start for your seating chart, your emergency cards, figuring out who's on your bus, and do your best to at least keep up with the names of the students that's on your bus, okay? Try your best. It's difficult, especially with the transfers. Now, one thing we've been working on here at South Middle with 400 Hills buses is really drilling down into the seating charts, who's on these buses, who's on it, and really working the process, maybe to be expanded later to other places. One of the reasons why is because for whatever reason, those students in that area like to switch buses a lot. And it causes a lot of disciplinary issues, it causes a lot of problems. So we've really drilled down, got specific with each driver. The principals have been great to help us get this under control and get these kids on buses. Now everybody knows where those kids are supposed to be, and if they're not on the right bus, typically, especially if it's been a long time, we're going to write them up and we're going to get them on the right bus. But do your best keeping the names correct on your bus at least. I fully realize that your seating chart may not be totally accurate. Things can change from the first of the month to the last of the month, right? And vice versa. it can change. So please understand, we know that it may not be completely accurate. But God forbid if there's ever an accident or if there's ever a problem. And we've experienced this. One of the things, let me talk about this just for a minute. And Todd, please interject when you're ready, Rob, whoever needs to say something. One of the things that we've experienced is when we have discipline problems, principals ask a lot of questions. They want to dig down into it. They want to understand, what's going on your their bus. That's the reason a lot of times we have so many questions come in. They're trying to help us. They're not trying to hurt us, I promise you. They're trying to help and trying to understand the situation and get it taken care of. They'll want to know, who do they sit beside? Who sits in front of them? Who sits behind them? Where do you have them seated? You know, if they're causing you problems and maybe in the back, maybe we ought to move them up front, right? So these are things that are just kind of logical, but we don't take a lot of time to think about them a lot. So it's something we need to really think about and put a little bit of time into managing your students, getting them in the right seat, getting them beside the right people so that we don't have problems. Vaping has become a huge issue. Everybody knows that, right? We've got a problem. And one of the things that I have found, and I'm sure the rest of them have too, is you know, people that sit beside each other that are vaping and get in trouble. You know, they're passing it, they're sharing things, they're doing all this other stuff. So your seating chart can be very, very useful in managing those students, learning them, and it takes time. It may not be totally accurate, but you know, to manage your bus is a great tool. There is seating charts for you. You don't have them in your packet. They're at the bus garage, at the bottom of the mailboxes there in the room where we have all our forms, okay? Now, we will use these going forward. When we get these in September, we're going to go back to your routes. Now, all we have to do is update it with the new ones. We'll get rid of the ones that are not riding anymore. We'll put the new ones on, and we'll continue to manage that. Now we'll be in maintenance mode. We won't be in so much of a mode just trying to get everything in. We're in the maintenance mode. Any questions so far before I go any further?
Are you on legs? With that picture, they got to get checks, they get wanted. They've got to get somebody. They will check that daily. They will encourage it. Especially if they don't know that's their problem, but that's happening. That's a fact. We need that.
Absolutely. Yeah, what Mr. Cox is talking about is talking about the vapes and sharing and all this other stuff. I searched the bus this summer for day treatment because, you know, there was a vape issue on there and looking for vapes and stuff. So what's happening is with our day treatment students is, if you're down here at South, you know, you go all the way down to the end, drop them off at Mr. Finley's bus, let those students off. When they get off your bus there, they rabbit ear. They pull out their pockets, they'll pull down their socks, they take a wand, and they go all, you know, they're checking for everything. And they're not supposed to have cell phones with them, they're not supposed to have vapes, they're not supposed to have any of that stuff. Let me just give you some advice as a driver. Don't hold those items for those students, okay? Those students are in day treatment for a reason, and they have lost most of their privileges, okay? It's gone. They're there because they've had a serious issue somewhere, and the administration has issued the deemed necessary to put them in day treatment. So they're there for a reason. You know, it's okay to talk to them and try to help them and stuff like that, but doing them favors like that is probably just going to get you in hot water, okay? So don't do that. Don't hold items for them or whatever. And check their seats where they sit. Their stuff in the vapes, down in the cracks, in the back, cutting little slits. Mark loves that. And cutting little slits, putting them in the back, putting them in the phone. Anywhere they can get something, they're going to try to hide and contraband, okay? So you need to make sure that you're checking that.
Where should day treatment students be seated?
Front seat. Front seat.
Not in the back?
Not in the back. So I can hear what they say when they're behind me or beside me.
So it should be easy. We all can check there. What happens is, and we found this, they get wanded as soon as they get off the bus. When they go to the bus, they're leaving cell phones, babies, other contraband. They're not even supposed to have backpacks or bags. They've got a backpack or bag, bring that in, give it to Marshall. He calls the principal at day treatment, and we deal with it from there. But you're not doing them a favor by letting them leave a bag on the bus. All I can do is make you complicit to what they have in the bag, which is usually no good. We had one that ran away. Was it last year, year before? Got a new driver on the bus, and student brought his bag. you got them sitting up front, it's one step back there, checking the cracks. Help the kid out. Like catching that stuff, helps us get them warranty and sale. Speak on that. Yeah, that's right.
That's exactly right. You know, so one of the things, and I'm gonna talk about, right, Dave, if you could advance the slide more for me. One of the things that I want to talk about here in a minute, go ahead to the next one, and I'll have you come back to that one, is writing. So, you know, when you have a day treatment student on your bus, they have to be monitored more closely. Again, they're there for a reason, okay? And I know sometimes they can be a problem. My experience with the day treatment students I had while I was on my route, they ended up being some of my best helpers, just to be honest with you. I put them up front, kind of give them a little bit of responsibility as far as helping them count kids, or I give them something to do. Sometimes they just need something to do to occupy their time instead of, you know, getting in trouble with it. But day treatment has a specific set of rules for these students that not only has to be followed by the school, but we should also be following as well. I don't know if that's hit around what you was talking about.
Well, so anytime that we've got, and I've been in the same situation, I drove a bus, first probably 10 years of my career as a sub driver, I never had a route. But I know the situations that we get in as drivers. We think that we're, by being kind to them, you see a day treatment student, you see them get wanted, you know they've been kicked out of school, you know they're having some issues. I mean, a lot of them are emotional, and you know this, and we feel sorry for them. So, what do we try to do? We try to help them however we can. And a lot of times that gets into us making judgment calls that we really don't need to make and we should be put in a position to make. When I talked a little bit about, a few minutes ago, about helping these kids, they are there for a reason. They've been identified as not being able to make it in a regular setting. And they get sent to day treatment for excessive fighting, drug use, any kind of drug use, they're there. Court orders are there. I mean, they're there for all kinds of different reasons. But the best advice and the way you need to look at these students is, if you really want to help them, the best thing you can do is hold them accountable. And really, you're being more of a friend and a mentor and helping their situation out better if you hold them accountable. It's okay to feel sorry for them. And it's okay to feel sorry for all your kids. But in the end, I don't care, you can blame it on me, blame it on the school system, blame it on anybody. But do not get into this to where you think by letting stuff slide it's going to help. Because it won't. And I'm not saying be hard tails on them. Just hold them accountable, just like you would anybody else. They will end up in turn respecting you more if you hold them accountable than if you let them get by with stuff. But just blame it on me. Say, well, the director said I had to do this. You have to be written up. I have to check your receipt every day. You have to set up front. So you're going to do more good that way than if you let them slide. Okay? That's basically what I was trying to get at. Question? Yeah.
So I got a question, like December, January, and part of February, they'll wear coats or they'll have blankets. So they can't have those in extreme cold weather, or you operate them, so you have to do that?
They can wear coats anytime. That's part of it. They're going to check the coats. Blankets, I'm going to say a hard no. No blankets. If they got a blanket, take it, or tell them to take it back, leave it, blame it on me.
It's not just the day treatment, I mean, it's.
I'm talking about everybody. They don't need to have a bed in the back of the school bus. I have been on school buses before. I've had to go back and get blankets, and I went back and picked up like this. And do it well. So a hard no on the blankets. Okay. Coats, yeah. If your heater's busted, let Mark know. He loves working on heaters. We got some mechanics in the building today too. Let's go ahead and introduce them while we're on it.
But like the day treatment, so.
Day treatment, no lighter. So that's a good question. Day treatment students can wear coats. They cannot have backpacks.
Oh, but can they leave them on the bus and they go when they want?
No, they say they're coats. Yes, they should. Day treatment students leave nothing on the bus.
Okay.
Yes, that's a good question. A lot of people don't know. Yeah, they should be. Everybody should be. If they bring something on the bus, they should be taken to school with it. If you when you check your bus every day, if there's lunch boxes on there, either run them back out of school, bring them to us, we'll get them back out to school. But yeah, they shouldn't be leaving anything on the bus, really. And it's just to protect us and other kids, because who knows what they could leave on there. You know, I mean, and it could be innocent. But if we start allowing it, then it leaves a variable that we don't know what could happen. And they could leave anything in their car. Or back. Good question. I know that I'm probably going into some other stuff, but we're on a good point here. We've got some new mechanics that are going to be helping your buses and helping you this year. If you want to introduce them.
We have some new mechanics. Number one is Michael Farmer. Michael, will you stand up and let everybody see you there? Wave that way. You're a star.
Some of you know him better as Big Fish here. Tuesday night.
Another new mechanic. He's new, but he's old. Justin Storms. You're welcome. All right. We have Mr. Jerry Cornett helping us. Stand up there, Jerry. I'm sorry, Jerry Chestnut. I knew it, yeah. Way down there, Jerry. He kind of looks like Mark evidently, and I walk out there and I'm like, that ain't Mark, that's Jerry. I knew it was Jerry Chestnut, and I'm Jerry Cornett, and I say that all the time, my fault.
Jimmy Cornett was the manager of wrestling when he done that. We've also got Don Hicks, he's stand up there, he's a new driver. He's also been helping us. I don't know, he's been helping us on the custodial side this summer because a lot of you have not got to meet our new custodian, but Rod knows a little more about it. We can kind of talk about this situation if we want to.
Yeah, our new custodian, Dave Lewis, some of you may or may not have met, he suffered a stroke about 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago now. He is, last update I had, he's still at the University of Tennessee Hospital. They're hoping to get him to a rehab facility somewhere in this area as well. So just to keep him in your prayers, he'll have full recovery. Hopefully he'll be able to make it back to work. And with that in mind, if you know anyone that would be interested in a custodian's position, then have them who come for the bus garage there. There's a situation that's going to come up that if David doesn't come back, then you probably go right into that position. If not, they'll use them as a district custodian. But it will be a temporary assignment that could lead into a full-time assignment at the bus garage. So just have them contact Marshall himself, and we'll get an application to get that set up.
But on the same note, I'm pretty sure they could be hired straight in as a full-time. They would be a sub and be stationed at the bus garage. But they would come in as full-time, so they would get insurance. They would get to work all the time, so it'd be 40 hours.
Yeah, it's full.
And it goes with insurance. So if you know anybody that's interested, and you think they're good people and they want to do a good job, send them
Come on up, guys. Come on up. I'm going to introduce Mr. Jeremy Kidd. Most of you all probably know him. He's our South Laurel High School principal, our illustrious principal. It's the word of the day is illustrious. So we want to invite him up. He's got some introductions here to make to you, but let's give Mr. Kidd a hand.
Hey guys, thanks for having us here. I just wanted to come and tell you from the beginning of the year, the beginning of South Laurel's new administration, how much we appreciate you guys. And I know oftentimes this position is a tough position. It's like managing a classroom with your eyes on the road, and then a lot of people, a lot of kids behind you. You sometimes don't know what's going on. You have to keep your eyes on the road and traffic and all the circumstances involved driving a bus. And I just want to let you know that we're here to support you guys. We want to be a resource for you guys. We want to be a partner for you guys. And so with our new administration, I want to introduce a couple of folks. Brittany Lewis, Assistant Principal, South Laurel High School. She's new this year. Mr. Jeremy Smith, Assistant Principal. And then Coach Irwin is going to be helping us out with some administrative duties this year. So if you see any of these guys, please stop us. If you have any issues on your bus, please come to us, radio us. Where's Victoria at?
Where?
Victoria, Mr. Smith, special ed background. He'll be working with you on those special needs transport issues. And really, truly, from the bottom of my heart, I think I've said this before in another meeting. Come from a school family. My dad was a guidance counselor, and my mom still drives a bus to this day in another county in central Kentucky. Hasn't done so since probably 98 or 99. So I know what you guys deal with every day. I really am appreciative of all the things you do for our kids and getting them home safe. So thank you so much.
We certainly appreciate our administrators and the administration of the school system, especially Mr. Kidd and his staff and everything they do. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you for coming with us. See you doing this. Are we good where we was at? Do we need to? We good? Okay. All right. I'm gonna hit write-ups. I'm gonna hit write-ups here just really quickly. Okay. I'm gonna try to do this fast. So overall, we're doing a good job reporting our discipline issues on the bus. Okay. Overall, we're doing that. We had roughly almost 1,400 write-ups from this past year, okay, district-wide. There was like 6 in the south, and I don't remember. I'm going to get in trouble there, but it was almost 1,400, because my math is just, y'all be ashamed. But anyway, we got some of that. We got a lot going on. There's a lot of write-ups. Now, let me talk about them just for a second. So one of the things that we need to do is fill out that sheet completely and sign it, okay? So let me tell you why. The write-up that we received, the written write-up that we received from you serves as basically a legal document that you signed stating, I see this behavior, I witnessed this behavior, okay? So you're signing off on that and saying, I saw this, it was me, I'm the driver, I'm doing this, you know. The other thing it does is that it proves that you're actively involved in managing the students on your bus, okay? So when I see, it doesn't bother me to see a lot of write-ups. You know, in the past, way back, there was a negative connotation placed on write-ups, getting write-ups. You know, I want to have the least amount of write-ups on my bus, and I understand that. You want to try to handle it yourself. You want to do that, and that's great. That's admirable. However, in the atmosphere and environment that we're in today, everything has to be documented, okay? So if we have, just say we have a special needs students, and you have special needs students on your buses, okay? You might not know they're special needs. I do. They're limited to a certain number of days. If they're in a situation where they need to be moved to a special needs bus, then we have to have that documentation to do that. It doesn't happen. This little monster eats, and it eats paper. And the only way we're going to get it full is feeding paper. Okay, I'm sorry. and it may be repetitive, it may be the same thing over and over again. We've seen this, some of you I can name, and in situations that we've had. But you just have to do it consistently, over and over again, to get this done, okay? Because we're showing that this student's behavior, we've done all we can do on the bus. We've done everything we can do. We're at our limit. Like Mr. Kidd said, you're driving the bus, you've got other things to do. It's important for us to get these in here. So I don't mind seeing write-ups, okay, at all. So just shows me that it lets us know what's going on the bus, that you're managing it. Do it consistently, though. If it's wrong today, it'll be wrong tomorrow, right? Do it consistently. Don't just get upset one day and give me 25 write-ups, okay? Let's manage our students, a little better than that. It's better, like I call it sandbagging. So if you take all your sand, just say that sand is student misbehavior. And so you gather up all that sand and you fill your little sandbag up till your sandbag is full and it's running over. Then you take that bag and you throw it at the student. Well, that's going to hurt and do some damage. You see what I'm saying? A little bit of sand every now and then is a lot less painful than doing it all at once. Does that make sense? Okay? So just do it consistently. If you have an issue, just consistently turn that in, and our administrators or principals will help us with that. Okay? We'll try to move forward here very quickly. Don't write your students up out of frustration. Write them up because they broke the code of conduct. In your book, in your packet, you have student code of conduct. Use that student code of conduct to help you get your write-ups done, okay? All of those codes on that write-up are connected to the student code of conduct, okay? That's why they're there. And so, look at your student code of conduct. See what part of this code of conduct did they break? What did they do? Well, they were just being mean. Okay, I go with that, but how were they being mean? Well, they just look mean, and we need details. We can't. They just acted out. I'll go with that, but what that doesn't, because the principals are going to go and they're going to investigate it, they're going to dig down into it, they're going to get witnesses, they're going to find out exactly what's going on. Most of y'all know the process, but I need to review it because sometimes it's easy to get lax and just not do this like we need to do it and keep it at the level that it needs to be. Don't put up with behavior, that you shouldn't be putting up with, Go ahead and write them up. It's okay, even if they're small. Even if, whatever the issue is, if they're distracting you as a driver, what's your primary responsibility as a driver? Safety. And doing what? Driving the bus, right? That's your first primary responsibility, is driving the bus safely. So if you have a student acting up in the back behind you and they're smacking you in the head and pouring water over your head and throwing things at you and hitting the windshield and making noises and doing things that are just frustrating you and distracting you, then write them up, okay? Because that creates an unsafe situation for you. All of this stuff is connected. Principals want specific information, okay? Go ahead, Steve.
Question on like a substitute these special routes. What happens when you have one that's so out of control, tries to bite, scratch, claw, draws blood sometimes? Maybe not from the monitor, but from the assistant bringing the kid out. Right now they're small, but when that kid gets like 15, 16, they're going to be a lot stronger. They're going to be, they can do a lot more harm then than they can while they're small. So, but you said they don't even go 10 times a year. At what point do you say, okay, this person is too dangerous to be in a public setting?
Well, that's something that's handled above us. What we do is report. We report the behavior. If it comes to a place where you're having that kind of issue on your bus and the student is out of control, you need to call and get help right then. Don't wait. You stop the bus, you call on the phone, you call on the radio, say, I need assistance. We will come to you and get that student off that bus. Get us to that level. Yeah, you can't allow that. Yeah, you can't allow that to go on your bus because then you're affecting all the students around you. So we'll come to you, we'll get that student off the bus, okay? And then we'll let the process take place, we'll document everything we need to do, and that goes way beyond that. That's a big subject, so.
That's my question. I didn't know.
Okay.
So just write it up.
Yes. well, we can get them off the bus immediately if we have to with anything like that.
So,
All right. Yes, please, yeah.
so what we're gonna have, I know this is going straight to the, campus, right? So what we're gonna have moving forward is, so the legislators passed the bill where all campuses have to have a school resource officer. As we're sitting here right now, they're doing interviews at central office for the Laurel County Police Force. We are going to have our own police department, and we're going to have an officer based, Lord willing, in the beginning there'll be a resource officer at every campus. Now, why is that important to you? That means that in your area where you're running your buses, there's going to be a school law enforcement officer that's going to be able to respond to you. In the past, we've only had 2 officers in the whole county. We've had Leosas, they're at school, but they couldn't do much. But this year, I think this is really going to help moving forward. We're going to have an officer that's in proximity to you where your whole bus will go. So we're going to be able to call, and then they'll dispatch, or will dispatch, the SROs out to your bus. And they will get there quicker than we can, because usually we call the principals right away, and they start hitting to you when you have trouble, and then we come on as soon as we get there, trust me. We get there as quick as we can. Okay, I promise. We've all got lights on our vehicles, but that's only for an accident. We can't run the stoplights. We can't drive over the speed limit. When those lights are on, if they catch us doing stuff, they're probably going to put us in jail. But trust me, because I know this has been an issue. This has come up, questioning me, why did I not get there? I've got lights and sirens on my bus, on my truck. No, I don't have sirens. I got a yellow light. We got yellow lights. But we get there as quick as we can. But these officers are going to be near you and be to you quick. So that's going to be a big plus.
Andy took our bullets.
And I tell you what,
Yeah, Andy took our bullets. So we don't have any bullet in our pocket anymore. But I'm going to wrap this up here. A lot of you don't know this. If you have questions about write-ups, please come see me. I'll help you, okay? If you have a student that's just, you don't know what to do here at your week's end, please come see me. I'll help you. We'll get the principal involved. We'll get you some help, okay? Here's one thing I really want to stress, is that you're not out there alone. You have a tremendous amount of support, more than we've ever had in this department. And you are supported, you have help, there's ways to get help. All you got to do is ask. All you got to do is communicate. All you got to do is talk and ask and just say, hey, this is beyond me. I need help. We will help you, okay? Now, one thing I do want to mention really quickly, if you go to the next one, I'm going to do the warnings, okay? I saw 3 warnings this year. 3 in the whole district. We had what I say, 1,400 write-ups and 3 warnings. Okay, we need to go back to this. This is part of our positive behavior intervention system, okay? We need to get to this. The white sheet goes to the student. I know what you're going to say. He's going to throw it in the trash can. Let him throw it in the trash can. We did what we were supposed to. The yellow sheet comes to me. I scan that. It goes to the principals. It goes in their infinite campus record, okay?
the yellow sheet is more important than the kids.
Yes, the yellow sheet is much more important than that kid sheet. The pink sheet is pretty important too, because that's yours. That way you keep that and you know how many times you warned that student. How many times should you warn a student about repeated behavior? 14 times, and then I'm going to give him a good talking to him, I'm going to get my grandma.
3 strikes are out.
2 is plenty for me. 3 strikes are out, you like that. 2 is plenty for me. If I take especially an older kid, yes, right. So let me define this a little better. What is a warning? What is a warning? Not sitting down in your seat would be a warning, right? What about chewing gum? Okay. What about saying bad words, saying dirty words? What about smacking the kid beside of you? Crossing. Right up. See, everything's not a warning, and you don't have to go to warning. As a matter of fact, I love to use these for elementary age students. Love to use them for elementary age students. 5th grade and down. 6th grade and up, I'm going to tend more to the right of it. Why is that? Because they're older, they understand, they've been told, they've done this a while. I told them, you know, you don't have a lot of rope now. You're older, there's more responsibility. Again, we're holding them accountable, like Mr. Cox said, in doing that. So we're doing good. Don't feel like I'm just doing a terrible job. If you are, own it. If you're doing a terrible job, say, man, I stink at this. Okay, we can work with that. You know what? But you can get better. I can get better. There's always room for improvement, right? Old cliche, I can improve. You can improve. We all can improve. Don't we feel good now? Listen, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to get out of the way. We're going to invite Mr. Mark Gator, our illustrious lead mechanic, to come to the stage and share with you what he has. So why don't you just give Mark a hand? He just never handed